Hello and welcome to this online lesson. Today we're going to be looking at network topologies. So what is a network topology? Well, a network topology is the pattern in which nodes, for example computers, printers, routers or other devices, are connected to a local area network. The topology can be split into two definitions of the physical and also the logical topology. So there are many different types of network topologies, all of which are going to be covered in this lesson. Each of these types have their own advantages and disadvantages, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So the first topology we're going to be talking about today is the bus topology. So with the bus topology, every device on the network is connected via a single cable, which you can see here. Data is transmitted in one single direction across the network. So you can see here you've got the three computers and all the data is being sent across this one cable. So let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the bus topology. We'll start with the advantages. The bus networks are very cost effective, meaning that small networks, small businesses will be able to run these without any worry of cost. The amount of cable needed for the network is a low amount, as it's only one cable connecting the computers. This means obviously there's not going to be a lot of cable needed, and also it's very efficient, like I said, in small scale networks. And also these networks are very expandable, as you can just add on computers to the single cable. And obviously this is the first one we're talking about, so it is the most understandable, it's the easiest one to understand. So let's talk about some disadvantages. So if the cable fails, then the whole network goes down. This can be seen as one of the biggest drawbacks of the bus network. If the network traffic increases, then the performance drops. So the more computers are added to the network, it's expected the slower the network will be. The cable has limited length. After a certain amount, the performance will get so bad it becomes unusable. And overall, it's a slow topology due to then usually being a fair amount of computers on the network. So the next topology we're going to be talking about is the ring topology. So the computers are connected to one another on a ring network. All of the computers have two neighbours, so you can see here they're in a ring, and each computer has its own two neighbours. So the last computer is connected to the first on the network, so let's assume this is the first, loops round, there's the last, and the last we can see is connected to the first one there. It's common for repeaters to be used in a ring network, as data has to be passed through all of the nodes. So when data is being sent, it has to be passed around the whole ring network. And this is sequential, meaning it's done in a sequence from first background to last, and then it starts again. So let's talk about some advantages and disadvantages of the ring topology. Advantages: the network is not affected by high traffic, and performance is consistent. The network is also not affected by adding more nodes. It's also cheap to install compared to other topologies we'll talk about, and it's easily expandable as the ring just gets larger. So with disadvantages, troubleshooting is difficult due to the sequential data transfer. As all the data is passed through, it can be difficult to see where a problem is in which node. Adding or removing nodes disturbs the network for a short amount of time. This could be a problem on a network that has to be consistently run, as disruptions aren't very good. If one computer fails, then the whole network fails, similar to the bus topology. This isn't obviously something you want to go wrong with your network. Now we're going to be talking about the star topology. All computers are connected to a central hub. You can see the hub in the center here. The hub is a central node, meaning all computers are connected to it, and it will send data to and from. So no computer is directly connected to each other like the ring or the bus topology. They're connected to the central node. So let's talk about some advantages and disadvantages. So advantages is fast performance of low amounts of nodes and low network traffic, meaning the less computers are on it, so you're going to have a higher performance. It's easily upgradable, as you're simply connecting a device to the hub, not other computers. It's easy to troubleshoot, as one computer is easier to identify when it's connected to the hub. And if one computer fails, in this case node, then the others will still work. So let's talk about some disadvantages. First off, the cost of installation is high of a star network. Also, it's an expensive one to maintain and use. If the central hub fails, then the whole network fails. There seems to be a recurring pattern with the topologies that there are a lot of points of failure. So for this one, the central hub would be that. And also the network performance is based on the central hub. So a cheap central hub would probably mean bad performance with the network. So definitely don't want to cheap out on that part. Now let's talk about the mesh topology. It's point-to-point connection to the other nodes or devices. All nodes or devices are connected to each other. There are two techniques for data to be transmitted. These are known as routing. In this technique, the data has routing logic, meaning that the network determines the best path for the data to travel. Also flooding, where all data is sent to all nodes. So advantages and disadvantages of the mesh topology. Advantages: each connection within the network can carry its own data load. It's a very robust topology, also very easy to troubleshoot, provides security and privacy as well. Disadvantages: the cost is high due to the amounts of cable going from one to another. This adds to the configuration being difficult as there's so much cable. There we see the cables required lead to higher costs, so this is one of the highest costing topologies to do, and also a lot of bulk wiring is required. So let's talk about the tree topology now. This has one root node, and the rest of the nodes are connected in a hierarchical order. So you can see here that the root node and then the others lead down in a hierarchy. This topology is great if the computers are in groups, as there's not enough distance for the data to travel. And these topologies are most commonly used in wide area networks. And with a tree topology, the hierarchy should have at least 3 levels. So let's talk about tree topology, advantages and disadvantages. Advantages: it's an extension of the bus and star topologies. It's very easy to expand the amount of nodes. Tree topologies are easily managed and maintained, and error detection is very straightforward. Disadvantages: the cost of installation is high, configuration is difficult due to the hierarchy. The cables required lead to higher costs. Due to it being a hierarchy, it means more cable is usually needed, which bumps up the cost of maintaining and creating the network. And maintenance is difficult to add more nodes. So now let's look at a hybrid topology. This is the combination of 2 or more topologies. This topology inherits the advantages and disadvantages of the topologies it's combining. So we can see here there's a bus, and this topology here as well. So this combining the two, so the advantages and disadvantages will be the same as what these two would be on their own. So let's look at some advantages and disadvantages. Advantages: it's reliable as error detection and troubleshooting is easy. It's very fast and effective topology, very scalable, also very flexible. Disadvantages: complex in design, configuration is difficult, costly due to the size. So that'll be it for the lesson. Thank you. And yeah, thanks.